This is TechVibe, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem, and I'm your host, Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council. So, what if you could bring personalized health insights into your daily life right from your phone? In a fast-paced world where stress and health management are constant challenges, this episode of TechVibe explores how a new wellness app, Innermore, is transforming health education by combining AI, personalization, and skill building to help individuals make better healthcare decisions. Keep on listening to learn how Innermore uses AI to create customized health education experiences. You can discover how the app can help reduce stress and improve self-awareness, and understand how gamification makes the health journey interactive and engaging. Keep on listening to hear from founder Stephanie Barchetti on how Innermore is reshaping personal wellness through innovative technology. Stephanie, thank you for hanging out with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm excited to tell a little bit of your story because I am always entranced when people make the move to start something, because I would never do that. I'm a chicken. That's how I say. And I love getting paid, twice a month. It's a good thing, I like to have a little predictability, but luckily there are women out there like you who are like, no, I'm not satisfied with that. I want to build my own company. So I'm excited to learn your story today.
Yeah, I'm happy to tell you. It's definitely an interesting path to be an entrepreneur. Yeah, my company is in the health education space.
Yeah.
I didn't start there, though.
Okay.
Started in PR.
Yeah.
And out of college, joined a company and kept taking on more and more responsibility with them. It was an events company, and it was fun. It was a whirlwind, but it ended up burning me out pretty bad. Mm. We lived together, worked together, traveled together. The energy became just very toxic. So one day I packed up in the middle of the desert, got on a bus at 3 a.m. and left. And I kind of Irish goodbye the entire career path.
Oh my goodness.
I just left the whole thing.
You were really fed up then.
I was pretty tapped out. Yeah.
I can imagine. So if it's 3 a.m., I'd be like, you know what? I'll wake up in this cool desert air and maybe just, think about it and then get on that next bus or something like that. But you're like, no, I'm out. So
no,
you were
pissed.
Done.
I made a very direct decision. I came home. For the first time in years, it was quiet around me, and I really didn't know what to do. And I realized how disconnected from myself I was and how unhealthy I felt after all those years of just like not having the boundaries and just working into the ground.
Grinding it out every day, 24/7, work.
Yeah.
So someone else can make money.
So someone else can, yeah. And this kind of time alone in the quiet to reconnect to myself, it ignited this existential curiosity that just kind of took over. So for the next 5 years or so, I was just learning different techniques of self-awareness and different philosophies of health and different alternative modalities. So I studied everything. I went down so many rabbit holes. I studied herbalism. I studied energy work.
Awesome.
I studied emotion code and human design and dabbled with quantum physics, and I just wanted to know everything.
Oh my goodness, man. You're like, this is an amalgam going on here.
Yeah,
okay.
I was just like, I just wanted to know. The curiosity was just almost like insatiable at that point. But it wasn't making sense to me because no matter what I studied, I wasn't able to turn it into anything provider-based, because there's that societal pressure that what you're interested in, you have to make money from.
It's a good point. And that's something that we all chase that down. So you're like, wait a second here. What do I do, right?
And it just, it wasn't clicking. And I was like, I don't understand. I'm so interested. I don't know why it's not fitting. And then there came a point where my mom had a friend over. She was having this panic attack. And I had all of this information stored in my head. All of these weird techniques, all of these philosophies, all of these like fast grab solutions. And I had her regulate it and calm down in like 5 minutes.
Whoa. Wait a second. What did you do? I need to know some steps here.
So many things. We were grounding. We were doing like hot and cold temperatures. We were just doing breathing.
Yeah.
Very self-aware, talking through it.
And this all came out of your brain just based on all those readings that you've been doing.
All of it's like absorbed information.
You've got a massive brain then, man. You got some special brain wiring going on there. So yeah, this is your thing. I like it.
Storage space, I guess. And I joked with my dad later, like, wouldn't that be nice if that was a service that could just come to work, if you need it, like an Uber service for like regulation? And he was like, yeah. And then somehow the idea escalated. I was going to make it into this pod service that was housed in a double-decker bus.
Oh my goodness.
And that was the first vision of Innermore. It was like, it's going to be this like mobile service And so much as so that I had a bus sourced from England.
You sourced a bus from England.
And I had like the ports for shipping picked out. It was like going to happen.
Wait, back up. What would it cost to ship a bus over from England?
It's not cheap.
I can imagine it's not. Like,
no.
Just customs alone.
Just customs alone. Yeah. They're like, why do you need this bus? But, then like Reason took over and I was like, the overhead here is insane. The margins are non-existent. Like, this is not a realistic idea. But I still loved the vision of Innermore. And so I was like, how can this be accessible now? So then it became an app that you can have in your hand.
How did you come to that conclusion that it had to be an app? Because, I mean, that's a big jump. I mean, there's a spectrum of things to do. One is buy a bus, and one is to create an app in order to get in front of people. So how did it become apparent that this needed to be an app as opposed to being on a bus?
It was the accessibility.
Okay.
Was that, a bus can only serve like one place at a time.
Right.
And, but I wanted this to be something that you could have access to as fast as possible. Yeah. And the closest thing to us now is our phones.
I mean, that's our lifeline for everything.
It's our phones. And then from there, it kind of, the nature of like something that is ready to be in existence took over and met my tech partner. We started developing and refining this platform.
Okay. This was all here in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, I was introduced to them from a connection in Pittsburgh. They're kind of remote.
Gotcha.
Scattered.
Yeah. But as many developers are.
But then it took over and now we have Innermore and
so explain to me, how does this app work? And I'm curious because I think the idea of bringing wellness into the workplace is just huge. I mean, obviously wellness in general post-COVID, thankfully has become so much more important and recognized and becoming a priority now. And we look at how like we spend all of our lives at work, as you were doing, burning yourself out. Like if you have like an Innermore service here to help you, like if I'm panicking at work, like, okay, hot compresses and some grounding therapy, right?
All these little tricks.
So how's it work?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of it was based off of my experience and my process. And, I found that the through line was that all health begins with self-awareness and being able to tune into yourself and being able to recognize what you need and learning to become that advocate for yourself. And that's what Innermore does. It's a health education platform. So it ultimately leverages AI and personalization and skill building to help you make better and more informed healthcare decisions.
Okay. Like walk me through a scenario or something like that. How would a typical person use it? If, say like you're just not feeling, you're feeling like stressed out because no one feels stressed out. So,
no one ever feels stressed. It's
stressed
so
out
rare.
And maybe slightly panicky because of it. Not that I would know what that feels like. So yes.
So people would come to the app when they're looking to gain knowledge on something, kind of do their research, filter through all of the noise of healthcare. We're bombarded on a daily basis with just this constant stream of information coming to us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And us as consumers, sometimes we lack these skills to really understand all of it or to make sense of it or to filter it.
Well, it's overwhelming. And especially if you're already stressed out, then it becomes even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's there's usually two extreme reactions. Either people become avoidant with their healthcare and they're like, I don't even want to think about it. It's too much. Or they immerse themselves in it and get overwhelmed by it. And it's just this constant overconsumption that lacks self-awareness is where we get those big reactions. So what Innermore does is it's we have a chat bot and the AI learns you as a person through some different interviewing techniques. We learn your personalization filters.
So you start answering some questions so it starts to be able to know you as a person and how you react to things, what motivates you, what doesn't motivate you, things like that,
just kind of getting to know you.
Okay.
On levels that are more than just, do you like A or B? We really want to get to know you and how you engage with your health.
How long does that take to go through that?
It's gamified, so you can do it as you want to go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like it when you say gamifying because that means it's fun, right? You're going in there and you're
because talking about health should just be fun.
I like this. Okay, keep going.
So it's very interactive. You use a lot of like visual tools so that you can answer the questions that you may have trouble responding to and really creating the lens that you see healthcare as the starting point and really starting with that level of self-awareness. And then as you talk to the chatbot, like if I have an upcoming doctor's appointment, I want to feel prepared going in, maybe you'll do a simulation on decision-making or preparation.
Because that's interesting because, if you are going in and talking to the doctor, you think you know everything you want to tell them, but then when you get there, it kind of goes away in a weird way.
It's such an intimidating space.
Oh,
and there's like a real imbalance in these clinical settings where it is very intimidating, and we do lack the skills to even the playing field and have that shared decision-making model or that collaborative care with our doctors.
Right. It's very much so you just say a couple things and the doctor says something and you're like, well, that's what the doctor says, and that's it, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So our goal is to strengthen the consumer's role in their healthcare.
Yeah.
And not replace doctors, not give medical advice, not try to take over.
No, it's all supplemental and additive to the experience to provide a better experience for the patient. And I would think maybe for the doctor as well, too, because they're actually getting they're having someone that's more prepared to talk about what's going on so they can actually listen more and grab onto the details to help diagnose.
It's almost we're like handling the prerequisite to healthcare, which is like foundational skills. And, these are things like, what does it take to be an advocate? It's communication. It's active listening. It's being able to reason and critical think through information, being aware of your emotional state. And, we don't really like to say to regulate yourself emotionally in these situations because sometimes big reactions are valid. So we say more of emotional awareness.
Okay.
Self-awareness, being able to tune in and be like, I know that I feel this every day at 7:00. Like it's becoming a pattern.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And kind of like looking at what does it actually take to be an advocate? And where are we not proficient there that we could be stronger to optimize these healthcare experiences? Because sometimes you get 7 minutes with your doctor.
I think that's what it is, yes.
And you got to be efficient in there. Like you got to know what you're talking about.
I just talk real fast.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also an option. But yeah, our goal is just to give that consumer the space to actually be present in their experience and, and see what the impact could be.
Excellent. Excuse me there. So the idea is so is this something that you subscribe to the app? You get it? Could this be offered through a healthcare provider? I feel like if I was a healthcare provider, I would want my customers to have this so they can make the most efficient use of their time with my doctors and help manage get their stuff fixed, for lack of a better term. Yeah. So that way, then it's like there's less cost involved because they can catch something before it becomes big. So I feel like there's a number of ways that you can monetize this, right?
Yeah, there's so many ways. So originally we were direct to consumer, which we still do have the individual subscription as an option, but mainly we saw that our target audience is about 70-something% of them turn to their employer first to say, what are my options to manage my health? Because most people will get their health benefits through their employer. Absolutely, 100%. So we found that the quickest and the biggest footprint for us was to go B2B and to talk to companies about including Innermore as a wellness benefit in their packages and to offer this as a sustainable tool for their employees and, something that's not just answering a question, but something that's truly building. With a lot of our competitors, they kind of just become the advocate for you. They're like, you don't understand this. We'll take care of it.
We'll take care of it for you. But you don't want that because you're giving control away.
You're giving control away. And are you going to be better off when you leave the platform than you came to it? So like with Innermore, you're building skills. You're the one in control. We're just the companion here.
To help you along the way.
To help you along.
Yeah, to back you up.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of these skills that are being built on the app that are being applied to healthcare will actually directly translate into the workplace as well. So, it's not a skill set that you just turn off until you think of health.
Then think about that, right? Yeah, that actually carries through how you
There's
behave
a dual
in
relevance
all
there.
aspects of your life in many ways, right? Interesting.
Yeah. It's extremely applicable to multiple areas of life. We're just focused on healthcare.
So how have you been testing this out? Like where are you getting people to use it and how are you measuring it and seeing its effectiveness?
Yeah, we're about to actually kick off our beta test. So we did have some sessions with subject matter experts in clinical psychology, equity in healthcare, a lot of people in behavioral health, consumer behavior. And through those conversations, we really refined the process of what we need to know, how can we best support, what techniques to go about. But as far as consumer data, we are about to kick off our beta test. So we are now collecting LOIs for companies who would possibly want to participate in this beta. It's a 3-month beta, free of cost. We're just going to see how it fits into the workplace. We're also collaborating with some universities. So I'm actually working with my old alma mater, Duquesne, with their entrepreneurship class.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love hearing that. You can go back to your school and they were receptive to bring you in and help support this. That's awesome.
They've been super gracious and super helpful. And working with a professor out of Duquesne and his research partner to collect more data and, just going to see.
It's a journey, man.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm excited to see you take this because it seems like such an important piece of tech that can help your life in so many ways. And as you put this together, like, we're approaching 2025 and you're building this, it's going to be here before we know it, right?
Yeah,
and
fingers crossed, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as you move forward, obviously you want to get through this. What are your next steps?
Yeah, our next steps are, starting to get companies who are ready to beta test with us. We're currently fundraising right now.
Okay.
We're closing out our pre-seed round. So we are actively looking for angel investors and social impact and mental health and progressive healthcare initiatives.
Excellent.
Who want to contribute and be a part of the build at this early stage.
Yeah. Are you looking in Pittsburgh or any place? I mean, obviously, you
would love to keep it in Pittsburgh, but
Absolutely.
we have a big network within our team, and we are kind of expanding outward. But it's always great to keep things in Pittsburgh.
Oh, that we would hope so, if at all possible. But I also, in many companies, obviously they're here. You go wherever the investors are, but keep it here as they put the money into. No, it's just very exciting to see. I just love seeing these intersections of health and IT kind of coming together. I'm so glad you did not buy the bus and ship that over.
I'm sure
you would have
my dad is as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd like this large bus now parked in your backyard somewhere. Trying to get rid of it would be tough. And those things are, I think, they're like, I don't know, aren't these things like right-hand drive or something?
Yeah, we'd be on the wrong side of it. It would just be,
it's a whole thing. So I'm glad you made that jump back to using the app, which I think is just fantastic. Yeah. But it seems like obviously you want this thing in someone's pocket on their smartphone. So
absolutely. Yeah, we're doing the web and mobile versions. Android and iOS. So
awesome.
We'll be everywhere.
Very cool.
We'll be very accessible.
So, during your whole journey doing this, what's it been like? Granted, that could be a whole 10 other podcasts, but I'm trying to inspire others out there to do what you've done because this is not an easy road to take.
It's not.
Yeah. And so what is it that keeps you going every day? Any advice that you could offer someone who's saying, I'm on the wall, like I'm not necessarily going to Irish quit this place, but I would maybe like to scale out and do my own thing.
Yeah. That was drastic. I don't really advise that. I advise having a plan and not being as impulsive with that. But I think that what I've learned is that this period that was like this liminal space in between was my opportunity to be opportunistic and see each opportunity as just another skill to bring in, another piece of knowledge to build. And at that time, I didn't realize it was going to be everything I needed to create Innermore. At the time, it just seemed messy and like inconclusive. And now looking back, I could have been so much more advantageous. And what was being offered is like, I'm learning thousands of different modalities and skills and, perspectives and really building up this like foundation that I needed to do this. So I would say to just take every opportunity as somewhat of a lesson. There's always something to take away from it. You don't know where it's going to fit later.
Absolutely.
So don't overlook any opportunity to learn something. And, I think with a lot of entrepreneurs, we do have these nonlinear paths where we are kind of moving around. And everything I learned from day one out of college, I got this immersive 10-year experience in entrepreneurship without realizing it.
That's fantastic.
So just,
I think that's some great advice because over the years I've been covering so many entrepreneurs and building really cool companies. Sometimes they're blinded because they're just so focused. And if an opportunity comes, but it doesn't align exactly with where they think it goes, they tend to ignore it sometimes. And it's like, maybe you want to pivot a little bit because there could be money there to help you get to the next level. So I think that's some really sound insight is to take the opportunities.
And there's nothing wrong with pivots. We've pivoted with Innermore multiple times.
You're going to continue to pivot, as simple as that.
Yeah, you always got to be on that swivel with it. And, you have to follow the brightest light of it and just see where it's going to be the strongest. And I think a lot of that is just anchoring into the why you're doing it. And as long as you stay there, you can pivot around it.
Very much so. Fantastic advice. That is something that's going to keep an entrepreneur on the right track.
I hope so.
Yeah, very cool. First off, I want to say thank you for joining me here today. Secondly, I'm so glad you're building this here in Pittsburgh. That's awesome. If we don't have men and women like you building companies here, we're not going to grow as a region. And so it's hard work. We like putting a spotlight on it because, man, we want you to succeed. Simple as that. So it's good stuff. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I'm very excited for it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. You're the best.